ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for joining us today here on the Monday version of the Cuvo Radio podcast. We've got a special guest with us, a new Tejano, I wouldn't say new Tejano star, a Tejano star himself, the main man himself, Javi Guerra.
How's it
How are
going,
you
bud?
doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just here enjoying the old Valley weather. Aquí nomás. It's
The
good to be on
valley
your
weather,
show.
because it's hot.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
So how are things going with you, man? We were talking earlier about your album that you've been at, and it's a really good album. Thank you very much. You sent me a couple of copies, and then
Oh,
hopefully
you're
for
very welcome.
those people that are joining us today, if you are, go ahead and put down your name if you are interested. We're going to give a couple of these things away. I'm trying to
Awesome,
find it.
awesome.
I had it here. It's one of those things where you move something, you're like, okay, I need to put it here so that way I won't forget. And then I forget where I put here was. Oh, here.
That's me. That's me all the time.
There it is. Check it out. Pretty nice,
So,
brother, man. So, for those people that don't know you, you've actually got a long history. It's one of the things I like interviewing people um, that are great singers. You don't just wake up one day and say, "Oh crap, I'm a great singer." You know, I'm a great musician. That doesn't happen. That's never the case. Usually, you have a lot of time um, doing your thing. Practicing singing. You got to work on your craft. You're a great musician, a great singer. Tell us a little bit
thank
where
you.
you got started because you got started early.
Yes, actually, well, the way I started was back in elementary. It was crazy because I like to sing like they all say we like to sing in the shower, right?
Right.
Pero w- one day I was kind of forced to sing in a on a PTA meeting that we had, and they were trying out all these students. Hey, let's try this song out. Let's try this song out, and I thought they sounded great, but they at the very last they picked me, and they're like, "You're coming to the PTA meeting tonight, right?" I'm like, "No." Oh, come on, you have to come. I mean, we chose you to do it. So my parents found out. They made me go. They slapped the suit on me, and there I
Uh
go. I performed.
oh.
So after that, I'm like, when I heard everybody clapping and stuff, I'm like, hey, I like this. So
Yeah, I
I
think I
I
can do this.
yeah, I can do it. So from there on, I liked performing, and after that, I got into the guitar and stuff like that. So it's been since I was 8 years old, pretty much.
Yeah, and
That I,
and I do know that you do play the guitar because I've seen a lot of the stuff that you've done, and I've actually seen you a couple of times. Um, Dadgummit, slipped my mind now. It was in. It'll come to me. I know you have a significant you played in with a lot of different people, but
yes.
I've seen you fill in with some very significant bands and people that been around for a long time. And I to be honest with you, I've never seen you perform by yourself. I've always seen you performing with other people. And so, what brought on the solo album? What made you decide? Because uh, uh, you- from what I know of you, you've always been part of a band. So, what made you say, you know what, I'm going to stand out and because singing backup, what I tell a lot of people, singing backup doesn't mean that you're not a good singer. It just means you're an exceptional singer at being able to harmonize with somebody else, which is a
Right.
talent all into itself. A lot of people concentrate on just being a lead vocalist, but when you're a backup vocalist, you can be a lead vocalist as well. It's just you have to have that talent to be able to harmonize. Not everybody can do it.
Well, I started out with bands such as my first real touring band was Fandango USA
Hmm.
with Baldi Munoz. I thank Baldi for giving me the opportunity. He was the one that just threw me out there, and I appreciate that. So yeah, Fandango USA. I played with Margarita. Uh, Back with Fandango, we got to back up the legends, los
Yeah.
las leyendas de raíces. Got to tour, and alternate with many groups, popular groups out there, and which was an experience. But I've always loved singing. I've always loved producing in the studio. So my parents have always pushed me, my family. They're like, "Hey, how come you just don't put this music out? How come you don't do something with it?" And I'm like, you know what? You're right. So I did it not expecting anything or whatever. I just did. I wanted to share it with everybody,
Hmm.
and well, gracias a Dios, it's been heard. It's gotten out there. So we're very grateful and blessed for the opportunities that you all have given us and helped us with. Getting our music out there. So we can share it with the public.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good music is good music the way I see it. You know, I I know that there's a lot of people that put out music, and if it doesn't get the right push, it just doesn't get the opportunity to be heard and fall in love with. It has to be heard in order for people to fall in love with it, and it's kind of the basis of doing interviews like this, so that way we can get people to understand and learn and get to know these artists because I mean, like you said, you've been with Fandango USA, and when you say that, everybody thinks of Hugo Guerrero, you know, but and Margarita, but that doesn't diminish the fact that you're a great artist in yourself. It's just that you happen to,
Thank you.
you're helping them along with it. I mean, look at the great Rebecca Valadez. I mean, a tremendous talent, but she sings backup all the time because she really enjoys it. And uh, uh, when I got your album, I knew several of the songs, but it was always one of those. Oh, yeah. It wasn't never, But it's once again, it takes time. Sometimes it really does, and that's one of the reasons that I was like, oh, we got to get Javi on here because you're not new to this business. You're just new to some people. But that doesn't say that you are a new artist. You've been doing this for a while, and you've got some skins on the wall, and definitely have the vocal capability of carrying it yourself. So, how does it make you feel that you're getting out there and you're getting recognized? People are starting to know who you are and see you
I
out
love
there.
I I really enjoy it. I love it, and I mean it's a high that I really can't really explain, but I mean let's put it this way. I'm very grateful that everybody has been receptive to my music, and of course with the help of Gavino Perez, Rosie, I mean amazing team that I work with. I mean they've done a lot. Any promoter out there, my hats off because I mean without them, I mean, they play a big part in our role. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you have to have a good crew behind you. You really do. Um, That's Rick Phoenix Manso. He had that rock relief this past weekend for his cousin. He's saying, "What's up, brothers? How you doing, Rick? Thank you for joining us, man." And
Saludos, Rick.
Angel Jimenez is also here. Um, and Gracie, thanks a lot, Gracie. I see you already gotten some people joining in us, bro. That's pretty good. Yeah,
Saludos.
having a good support staff is always good. I mean, behind you to help you push it along, but you know you've been the support for a lot of other people as well, like Margarita just came back not too long ago. I saw her in Vegas, and I posted a little video. I was like, my longtime crush. I mean, she's I mean, she's still beautiful, obviously. I say that in jest, but she was gorgeous back in the day, and a great talent, the nicest person, the
She has
nicest
a
person.
beautiful talent, beautiful heart, beautiful person, and all. And I was very lucky, to be able to work under her. Learned a lot, very educational, and she taught me a lot. So I mean, nothing but good memories.
Hmm. And for you, as far as getting putting your album together, what was it like for you to decide which songs you were going to get? Because you have, like I said, you've done it for so long. There's a lot of people that do covers, kind of stay safe covers and everything else, but you've got these really really good songs. I talked about uh, uh, um, Amor de Papel. That one's just, I love that song, dude. I just do. It's just, when I first heard it, I was like, man, this is an awesome song. Veinte años is a good one. Tres palabras as well. What was it?
Thank
What was the process for you when you were going through and trying to find a song that you wanted?
putting the album together, I think that's the hardest thing to do. Getting material together, because I write a lot of music, but I try to put old good classic songs too. That people like to hear and stuff like that. And but I do write a lot of originals. But yeah, putting the album together, I think that's kind of hard, because you have all these songs, all this material, and you're like, oh, I like this and I like this and I like this, and but
Yeah,
it just you gotta narrow it down to a good 10 or 12 songs, and that's it.
yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, so I just kind of just base it. Okay, what would if I was somebody listening to an album, which I do listen to a lot of music. How would I like to listen to it? How would I, what's song selection would I say, this is a good song selection? And así la llevo, that's how I do it, and put everything together when it comes to putting an album together.
yeah. Well, that's Rosie Allison who says, "Hello, boys." Hey ho, Rosie. I'm not a young one. And
Hi,
she
Rose.
called you. She says, "Mis guapos." I'm sure she's talking about you, but she doesn't got her glasses on because I'm not the guapo. I'm the other
Rose,
G. I'm the
he's awesome.
gordo, not the guapo. No, no. This your album is really really wonderful. You're one of the few that put more than 10, which is, you know, uh, uh, which means you got a lot of love to give because every artist puts some of their heart into everything that they deliver, and that's a rareness that a lot of people don't realize. Um, we're so used to nowadays getting things MP3s and getting it streamed and everything else, but there's something to be said about getting an album. That's tangibility and being able to hold and go back and listen to it and get a true sense of what it is, because a lot of times our music is digitalized and it's just compressed, recompressed and everything else, and you kind of lack something of it. And what I really love about your music is very well put together as far as the 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 mixing, the studio mixing of it. Where did you get that done? Because it's very clean, very crisp, and there's a lot of room. It's not just solid noise all the way across. There's a lot of, you can hear the crescendos and the leading tones, and you can hear all of this. Where did you have it mastered at?
Well, I actually did the mastering on that album myself. I ever since I was young, like a teenager, I love tinkering. When I started recording in the studios, I'd be like this type. Hey, what does this button do? What does this do? So I like to ask a lot of questions, and I learned to record. So I bought myself a little device, when I was younger. Actually, my dad and my mom have been great supporters of me, and they, yeah, I mean, they work hard for everything they have, but they sacrifice, and they help me put things together. So long story short, I started recording very young, and when I was in the music business, when I would do it full time, I saved my money, and I said, you know what, little by little, I'm gonna start buying gear. So I bought gear, and throughout the years, I've done my own recordings. I've also helped a lot of groups here locally. I
Mm,
produced a lot of groups, from orquestas to conjuntos, little rock bands, even educational stuff. I do a lot of educational stuff for this other partner of mine that helps me out in the studio, and we do stuff for the district. So I mean, I just love messing with all that. So I learned how to do it myself, and well, I didn't have too much money to play with, on the first album and stuff like that. So I said, you know what, let me see what I can do. I put it together, um, and I just mastered, kind of matched the EQ. Guess some of the songs were recorded at Hacienda, some were recorded at Pro Sounds when I was around in McAllen, and
mhm.
some were recorded at my place. So I just matched the EQing and the mastering, and that's how I put it together, pretty much.
That's pretty awesome because especially considering Hacienda is just coming back. They were out for quite some time after the hurricane, and it's good to see them, still creating and everything else, which is really, really awesome. I wanted to say a quick shout out to Andy Bustamante, who is an amazing singer. Oh my gosh, I mean, she's beautiful, but she's got this voice that's just incredible. And
Amazing
then
talent. Hi, Andy.
yes, yes, yeah, and also the great Bumper Gomez, Wacky Wednesday. Hey, Bumper, how you doing, brother? Um, that's another personality I mean, that guy, he's just a ball of fun. He just, I watch him and I just laugh the whole time because he's just got, he's, I mean, you can tell he's been doing this for a while. So, I wanted to take a listen at least to 20 años. Tell me a little bit about this song. And this is one of your more popular songs. This is one of those songs that you go, dude, I know that one, and it's, you know, it's there. It's a great song. It's great structure. What was it? What was your inspiration behind this song?
Well, I used to get together a lot with this accordion player friend of mine from San Isidro, and we used to put a little conjunto together for parties because they like to party out there, and they
Right.
can
Yeah.
boy they can throw parties, very fun. Anyways, I noticed that some of the conjuntos that I helped before they played 20 años, I'm like, hey, I like that song. I was getting introduced to Tejano music, conjunto music, so then I started performing it, and I said, you know what, I want to record my own rendition of it, my own version of it. So I did. We added a little bit of Tejano with conjunto,
Hmm.
and that's how that song came about. It was done, a few years ago, and we added it to the album.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it's a great song, but it's. I think that one of the things that's a good measuring of an artist is his willingness to make a song that's relatively well known, to make it his own, to give his own flavor and not try to be so traditional with the rendition. And I think you pulled it off because of the fact that it's a what? Let me show you. Those of you that are listening, those of you that are watching. Great song. This is 20 años from Javi Guerra. I guarantee you're gonna love this song. It goes like this.
Traigo un sentimiento pero muy adentro. En el mero fondo de mi corazón. Negras decepciones que me trajo el tiempo. Una historia negra de un maldito amor. La mujer que quise me dejó por otro. Le seguí los pasos y maté a los dos. Yo no fui culpable porque estaba loco, loco por los celos, loco por su amor. Las leyes de la tierra dictaron mi sentencia, me dieron sin clemencia 20 años de prisión. Y aquí estoy prisionero, mirando tras las rejas, únicamente al cielo donde se encuentra Dios. La mujer que quise me dejó por otro. Le seguí los pasos y maté a los dos. Yo no fui culpable porque estaba loco, loco por los celos, loco por su amor. Las leyes de la tierra dictaron mi sentencia, me dieron sin clemencia 20 años de prisión.
Told you were gonna like that song. It was a great song. 20 años, the Javi Guerra version, which is pretty badass, dude. It's pretty awesome. So, who did you collaborate with this song? Who helped you out with it?
Um, the one that helped me with arrangements and stuff during the recording was a good friend of mine, Roger Pena from San Isidro.
Hmm.
We got together. We did a lot of those songs, and yeah, we performed them live, and we pretty much had an arrangement already by that time. By the time we hit the studio,
Yeah.
so so yeah, that's how we came up with 20 años. Same thing with Ojitos de Mis Amores. There's two versions. There's a more of a up-tempo Tejano version of it, Conjunto Tejano, and then straight Conjunto. So a lot of those first songs, I did with Roger, Chris Perales, and those guys. We used to jam together a lot. And as the other songs, well, I did a few of them here in the studio too as well, in my studio.
Hmm. So, just real quick, we got some people joining us. Norma Salazar over from Holland, Michigan. Now, there's a place, Holland, Michigan.
Holland, Michigan.
Marcus
Saludos.
Officer, a really good friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. Marcus, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, Mister. He's in Kansas City. He's always rooting for the Chiefs, knowing full well that I'm a Cowboys fan. He's got to rub it in. But that's the case. Also, I forgot to mention Rosie Allison is your promoter, and she's just amaze balls. Rosie is just one of the sweetest persons, and I mean, she's a terrific person to be working with. So, what's it like for you
Absolutely.
working with Rosie, man?
I love it. I love it. I haven't met her in person yet, but we will soon. And
Hmm.
también by Mr. Gavino Perez. I mean, these both of these guys are just amazing, awesome people. I mean, I couldn't be more blessed. So I'm
Yeah,
very happy about that and very comfortable working with them.
very thorough, very good people to have behind you. Gavino and Rosie. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
more familiar with Rosie than I am with Gavino, but I've never had an issue with either one of them. They're very professional, very well thought of and well respected in the industry, which is pretty awesome. So, and
Yes.
and you're lucky to have a good crew with you. You've mentioned your family a couple of times already. What's it like um, for you to? Well, that's not a fair question. How do you enjoy the fact that your family is so supportive? Because you've mentioned it several times, and this business is tough because you have some really great days, and then you have some really not so great days. And I mean that in the general sense because I've been in the industry myself, and I've been to where we're on stage and there's 12 people in the audience, and then you turn around the following month and you have 1,200 people or 12,000 people, and then you go back to 8 people, and all 8 of them are there for mama's cake or something. So what's it like for you to have that support? I mean, because you got to develop some tough skin here, in
Yeah.
this kind of industry.
Well, I look at it like this. You have, just like you said, we have our goods and we have our bads. No matter the situation, whether you have 1,000 people or you have one person, you have zero, just the people there that hired you. You go do your job and you put your heart into it, because they're expecting that, and you, just like they say, sing your heart out and perform at your best always, no matter what. And
Right.
that's how I did it. Yeah, I mean, I've had my my low points, where sometimes hey, it has to do with a holiday or something going on that you don't have that many
Yeah.
people. But then there's also been good days too, so yeah, I guess it happens like that with everybody.
Yeah. Oh no, most definitely. When I had my transplant, big shout out over to in Dallas. It's Tejano time, buddy himself. From Tejano time. I'm always asking, what time is it? It's Tejano time. Pretty cool guy. Love his
Awesome.
show. And then Randy Navarrete, he's also here. Hey, how are you doing, Randy? Nice to see you. Now, when I had my transplant, it was the first Thanksgiving in like 25 years that I was actually home. That's crazy. I
Wow.
didn't I didn't even realize it, but it was the first time I was home for Thanksgiving.
You
Well, I
got
was
this?
at home. I just wasn't at work. How's that? Because I was in a hospital. But I mean, even still, I wasn't. I didn't work that Thanksgiving, and then after that, I was just like, wow, yeah, because I mean, I've had I was working for the TV station for a long time, and I had to be on call in case something happened, and so there's always stuff happening, and not always good on Thanksgiving and Christmas. New Year's Eve was always a day that I always made sure that I took off because it was another year. But you spend those holidays away, Valentine's Day, birthdays, and stuff like that. It can be tough.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I remember, a couple of times being on the road. Sometimes we had to play out in the holidays, and yeah, and that meant being away from the family, being away from your parents. Not being able to celebrate. But hey, when cuando eres músico y te gusta, pues lo
Right.
vas a hacer,
Yeah.
¿verdad? You're gonna do it.
What's your
So
what's the one memory that you have that you're like, man, that was just, I wow, you want to you want to get back there. And I'll be honest with you, the reason I ask is my favorite day was not the day that I was in front of 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000 people. It was actually a different day. But you have markers in your career, in your life, where you're like, wow, this was so much fun. And it doesn't have to be this big thing, but what's one of those things where you're like, man, that was really awesome, and you want to get back to?
I one time I did a live TV show in Nuevo Laredo and in Laredo, right? And when it was in an arena, there was a lot of people there, a lot of people, and also on the live TV show in Nuevo Laredo, and that was just having all that support and trying to get a hold of those videos, by the way, but having that, it was amazing. It was awesome. So
Yeah, a
that's
lot of
that's
times it just comes out of nowhere where you're not even expecting it, and the next thing you know, you're like, "Wow, how did I get here?" And it's truly wonderful. And I firmly believe that guys like you always get your reckoning because of the fact that y'all guys are such great musicians and great people. You help out everybody, and then you got a great voice yourself. I have you kind of akin to Miguel Hernandez, who's another great musician, great guitarist, bass player. He's got a son that plays drums with like 12. It's like you make me mad
wow.
because he has all that talent, but he's got great voice and he's just coming back. And you're on that parallel because I love the way you know, some people sing songs that they like, but shouldn't sing songs that they like because they're not songs that you can sing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Being able to control your voice and control your instrument to be and still push your voice but stay within the elements that make it true to the song. Not a lot of people understand that, but you are very, very well measured, and the notes are there. you know uh, uh you can hold your note, you can be in the right key and bounce back and forth.
No, thank you, thank you. Well, I've always been told, um, from a very young age, when you're gonna do song selection, you gotta make sure get songs, que te quedan, right? Because there's gonna be songs, que no te quedan, and pues claro que pues you don't want to record those or perform those. You want to get songs que te quedan because you're gonna be translating to the people,
Hmm.
or whoever you're playing for, and pues they'll know if you mean it or not,
Right,
So
yeah. Well, it's
yeah,
it's kind of one of those things that I asked Monica Saldivar. Oh my gosh, I was like, girl, when do you breathe? Because I mean, not everybody can sing her songs. It's just like this long note that starts at the beginning, 3 minutes later it ends. Just like you know, some people can do it, some people can't. But you don't have to do that. You can still be a great singer. I mean, Ram, I call him the voice of milk and honey, and he's just, but he's just gotten better, and the when you listen to those voices and you like yours and you hear it, and then you get an opportunity like your album where I was able to hear all of your songs, and I can hear how well structured your voice is as far as where your notes are at, how to go from one to another and bridge it over. It's really awesome. It's good to understand that. For me, I really appreciate your effort and your work at it because it
oh,
shines through. It shines through.
thank you. I'm very glad you like it. I'm glad that anybody that's listened to my music. Thank you for your support and for everything. I couldn't be more blessed and more grateful. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I told you I was gonna shine on with a song that you. This isn't one of the ones that we talked about that we wanted to play, but I told you I'm playing it because I love this song. And tell me a little bit about it, Alas de Papel, because I'll tell you this is a great song. I love this song, and it's just the complexity of it. Just it's a great song. So what was it for you that said, you know what, I'm gonna put this on my album? What is it like
I'm
I mean, it's there. I mean, it's not like a featured song, but I love it.
No, thank you. Amor de Papel was actually one of my older recordings that I did. Actually, it was at an early age, around 19 or 20, and that song was given to me by Ruben Garza. He's the one that he wrote songs for Jennifer Pena, Pura Dulzura, and he's written, I think, Siempre Salina and stuff. So when he gave me that song, I was always into ballads and romantic songs, so I had to record it, and I decided to stick it in the album because that was one of my favorite songs as well. So I put it in there, and that way we can go ahead and put it out there. So that song goes way back, and my friendship with Ruben Garza, if he's tuning in, saludos. We go way back as well.
Yeah, and like I say, oh, by the way, real quick, Carlos P. Garcia, hey, how's it going, buddy? Welcome back, or welcome, rather. And Rick says, hello, brothers. Um, it's a
Saludos.
really, it's a really good song, and I'll tell you one of the things that I learned from interviewing Ram. Um, he said, music transcends time. Good music is good music, you know. And I always tell this story of when I became program director of the Spanish radio station here in San Angelo. And I found this big box of CDs with all these CDs in it, and I was like, "What's up with this box?" And they were like, "Well, the program director before he didn't like those songs." And I was like, "Did he listen to them?" No, he just didn't like either the cover, or didn't appeal to him, and he just tossed it in the box and didn't give it any listen. So I went through and made it my mission to listen to every song that was in that box, every one of them. And I found several of them. I put them on the air because I liked them. They were well done. And one of those songs, I took it to because I was also the DJ for Graham Central Station here in San Angelo, and I would travel and stuff like that.
Cool.
And I'd play this one song because I really, really loved it, you know. And it's a 10-year-old song. It was Amor Carnal by Chona Rausa. And it became a hit here in West Texas, and they actually brought him here just because of that song, and they fell in love with the rest of his music. And it only takes that one time, and that was a 10-year-old song. But I'll be
Wow.
honest, good music is good music, and as long as it's given the opportunity to be heard, that is all it needs. Hey, Mercy Pettis from West Texas Promotions. He's also tuning in. Thank you so very much. And I'm guaranteeing you guys are going to love this song as much as I love it. Grab your girlfriend, grab your wife, grab your significant other, hold them close, listen to the music, put on some popcorn, put some hot chocolate on the stove. Remember when they used to do that? Here it is. Alas de Papel, Javier Guerra.
Al acariciar tu piel, siento delirio. En tus ojos puedo ver que soy cautivo. Y en pensar así, solo para ti, escribo un gran poema. ¿Cómo pude ser tan afortunado un amor de papel. Es lo que tengo. Un amor, un amor, un amor de verdad. Es lo que quiero, lo que yo siento, lo que deseo, lo que yo quiero. Tú eres la mujer que yo esperaba. Eres tú el viento aquel bajo mis alas. Siento que puedo volar y voy a subir al cielo. Me haces creerlo. ¿Cómo pude ser tan afortunado, perdido yo en ti? ¿Cómo pude ser? ¿Cómo pude ser? Un amor, un amor, un amor de papel. Es lo que tengo. Un amor, un amor, un amor de verdad. Es lo que quiero, lo que yo siento, lo que deseo, lo que yo quiero, lo que yo quiero.
Well, what did I tell you? You're gonna love the song. It's a love ballad. It's great. Um, it's got its own unique little flavor to it, man. It's definitely you, and I love the constructs, the harmonies. It's just a great song, and I fell in love with it when I heard it, and so I was like, I'm gonna get this song.
Thank
Really.
you. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully we'll be doing more of those. We'll be doing more ballads and international type of music like that. So I have a couple that I wrote that I wanna record. So we'll be working on that.
hmm Have you thought of doing any collaborations because you harmonize well, obviously, because you've done that for a good portion of your career. Have you thought about getting together with somebody to do some collaborations, or is it kind of right now you're concentrating on just getting your own flavor?
Well, that'd be good. I've thought about it, so I'm just waiting for the right time, and I would like to collaborate, do a song with an artist. It'd be a great experience and something I've always wanted to do. So yeah, I definitely have thought about it, and hopefully that'll be you know done in the future, the near future.
Yeah, I
As
know.
far as
I know. Go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say, as far as collaborations, I have done collaborations, and with production, with Rick Fuentes and other. I got to work with other people. I work with Sereno también, Grupo Sereno,
Hmm
and we're working on a new single for them, which I'm playing in there, guitar parts and stuff, and so that'll be coming out in the near future as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been collaborating in that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not saying that you haven't. It's just that it sounds. It's we're seeing a lot more of it now. People are more open to some of these collaborations and also wanting different. That's what Tejano is. It's a conglomerate of different sound genres being put together into, the essentially the polka and the cumbia, which is the two of the Tejano deal. But it's just that I hear just by circumstance, only because I saw Andy Bustamante here was earlier, and she's got that voice. She's just oh, blows people away with that voice, and she's got La Clave that's with her band. But that'd be really interesting to see you and her collaborate together and do one of those uh, 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 those country songs. Oh,
like a country
Faith,
duet or something.
like Faith Hill and her husband. It's definitely two different flavors, but they combine really well. You have a good tone. Your tone is very very well. How would you say your tone? You're not a baritone, but you're not a soprano either. Where would you put your voice at?
Um, well, I remember when I used to be in choir, they told me I was like a tenor or two, between a tenor two and a tenor one. So
Yeah,
I can hit high notes, I can hit mid range and somewhat low notes.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm a tenor
yeah. I
vocally.
want- I mean, there's a lot of famous tenors. Let's be honest. Andrea
Mhm.
Bocelli, he's a tenor, so you know. So, but yeah, it's just only because I saw her that she had jumped in here, and I hear her voice. She's very
Ah,
versatile.
it'd be great to work with her one day.
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely awesome.
And so what else is going on there in Hobby Land, man? What do you got coming up? What's your schedule looking at? Where you going to be playing at? Tell me a little bit about that. What you got going on. I know it's tough because we have COVID still. A lot of people went to Vegas and they came back with COVID. Um, you
Oh
know,
man, it's a bummer.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that that virus is still around. But for the meanwhile, really what I'm working on and what I'm doing right now, I'm in the studio, getting ready for the next single
Hmm.
and trying to see what I can do to put the album together. So I've been occupied with that and just staying busy in the studio. Also, recording other groups. There's another group. They do tropical, and they tour. So I just finished doing a recording for them too.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, as far as myself, I in between there, I've been working on my new material and gearing up to get it out, before the summer's over, hopefully.
Yeah, it's tough. I know a lot of artists that have like, I'm gonna put out my album next month, and it's like that was last year, bro. But
Yeah,
understand it's a very hard system. I was talking to Rick Valderrama, and he has this song that he is not. He's worked on it and worked on it, and he's like, Lawrence, it's driving him nuts because he can't get it the way he wants. He knows what he hears in his head, but he can't get it there, and that is unfortunately that's the mark of a great person, a musician, singer, because you want to get it right, but it's also the curse because it is going to take you forever to get it out there, and but I mean it's still a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but yeah, it's to be expected. Some people uh, they have wrong misconceptions, or big misconceptions, thinking, oh, it's easy, just go in and write a song and go record it. I do that at karaoke every Friday. It's not that. It's a lot harder
no,
than
it's,
that.
it's not that easy. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard. You can write a song, you can perform a song, but hey, you never know. It could be a good song. It could be very catchy, but you never know if it's going to be a hit or not.
Right.
It's going to depend on the public and how everybody receives it, and so yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but you know what? Hey, all you can do is just put your heart into it and seguirle para adelante and don't stop. Just don't give up.
Mhm.
Just
Where
go
do you
for
get
it.
where do you get your inspiration for your music? Because like, and I keep mentioning Andy only because I saw her there, but I do know when I talk to her, um, she draws from life experiences and she writes. That's where she gets her music from. So you know that she's drinking a Coke because she wrote a song about it. You know, but where do you draw your inspiration? Or is it just like Ram, when they wrote one of his songs, the guy that wrote the lyrics, it popped in his head and he wrote it down on a piece of toilet paper because that's all the paper they had. What is it? What's the process for you?
Well, it all depends. Life experiences or hearing a style or song that you like. You
Yeah.
know, um, So that's basically like off the album. I wrote Ahora que eres mi mujer, Baile Suavecito. Um,
Baile
there's
Suavecito is another one. It's got kind of like a how would you call that?
it's between
It's
like a flamenco
yeah,
salsa
I
type of.
was like it's not bachata. It's kind of more salsa-ish, kind of tropical salsa-ish, right in the you know.
That song. I remember we were doing a tour in the early 2000s with Margarita up in I think it was Miami, right? We're in those areas, Miami, or Orlando, and those areas. We had
Mhm,
done Calle Ocho, we had done some TV shows, and I heard a lot of salsa music, and I heard a lot of that type of chord structures and changes
yeah.
on that music. So when I came back, I wrote that one, and I wrote together, like back to back. I wrote that song, Baile Suavecito, and I wrote Perdido Sin Tu Amor, which was recorded by another artist, by another.
Mm,
That one's mine.
mhm,
Eventually, I do want to do my own rendition of it later, but the band that did it, they did a great job. They se aventaron, and
mhm.
but yeah, I when I got back from that tour, I wrote those two songs. So it's basically I'm always into writing love music. I was always uno de esos bien enamorados. Back in those days. So
Right,
so I would write about love. Escribía canciones del amor, and Baile Suavecito was more of a dancing type. So
right.
I got the idea from the Florida tour.
Yeah, because I mean, that's one of the things about your album. It's so varied. There's so many different flavors that you put inside this album. It's not just, I mean, it's just a it's really awesome to have such diversity in the music that you play, which means that you're not grounded into one thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, David Garza, that's pretty much what he plays. It's just David Lee because he's only playing this, but the same can be said about La Mafia. La Mafia has a very distinct sound. You know, they do mostly cumbias and stuff like that, and so it's good to have a good varied amount of music and everything else. And so, I'm really glad that we're able to talk about some of that stuff. And let's go ahead and shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about Tres Palabras. Tell me a little bit. Give me a little bit of background about that one.
Tres Palabras. When I released the album Un Nuevo Comienzo, with the 14 songs, I back in 2019, I I would listen a lot to the Tejano Network with Elio Livo,
Hmm.
and I heard that song. It was recorded back in the '70s by Agustin Ramirez, and I
Right.
was like, "Gosh, I love that song. I like it." And I kept listening to it quite a bit over and over, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder what it would sound like. Trying to bring back that song. And my dad and I like to listen to music and like to select songs for recording. I'm like, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? I've never done an orchestra song, but we've always talked about doing something orchestral, right? And
Right.
he's like, pues, está bruto. I like it. So I'm like, well, you know what? Let me see. Let me work on something. Let's see if we can record it. So before the pandemic, I had talked to Rick Fuentes. We had talked before, but I said, hey, dude, you know what? Bro, I'm ready. I'm ready to do something different. And can you mind working with me on this song? And he was like, yeah, of course. Very very cool, very cool guy, and very easy to work with. So about 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, he's like, hey, I have your song. So I was about to go, record with him and stuff like that, vocals and stuff. But then, they had all this lockdown stuff. And so what I did was, since I had a studio here at home, I had my setup where I do a lot of my pre-production. To my wife, ¿sabes qué? Llévate los niños para arriba. I'm gonna try to do something here. So I made sure everything was quiet. I kind of put blankets all over the place, and I did the vocals here. Luckily everything came out good. Made sure that there was no ambience on the outside or anything.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I did that. I sent them back to him, and after that was a little after the pandemic. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna get ready to release this. So we uh we got together again, and got it mixed, mastered, and was pa fuera. We send it out. We released it in March, this past March.
Yeah, I know it got some buzz because that was one of the songs when I was doing some research. That was one of the songs that was mentioned a lot was Tres Palabras, and it's a good song. It's really well put together, and once again, you make it your own, which is definitely something that lends credence to your ability, and not only that, to your confidence in yourself, which is just, it's awesome to see. It really is. Let's go ahead and take a listen. This is Javi Guerra, and this is Tres Palabras. You're gonna like it, I guarantee you.
Ay, cómo haré, chaparrita de mi vida, para hablar contigo. Ay, cuando estés sentadita en tu ventana, darte un lugar, lucero de la mañana, que son tres palabras las que yo te voy a dar. La primera es que te quiero mucho. La segunda es que no te puedo olvidar. Y la tercera, que nadie me la de quitar, que son tres palabras las que yo te voy a dar. Ay, cómo haré, chaparrita de mi vida, para hablar contigo. Ay, cuando estés sentadita en tu ventana, darte un lugar, lucero de la mañana, que son tres palabras las que yo te voy a dar. La primera es que te quiero mucho. La segunda es que no te puedo olvidar. Y la tercera, que nadie me la de quitar, que son tres palabras las que yo te voy a dar.
One of the best parts of that song is just the horns, man. You gotta love it. It's just it's all over the place, and I love that whole thing. It's classic. It's classic. Tejano, Chicano back in the day, and it's definitely got a flavor that's different. It's definitely you. Really good job, brother. Very, very good
Thank
job on
you.
that song.
Thank you. And it's cool to you. Orquesta music has been something that I've always wanted to do. Actually, when I first started in the industry, right before Fandango, I played with an old orchestra band. The artist was Lenny Salinas and the Lucky Six. He
Oh
had
wow.
changed his name. Yeah, he had changed his name from the Lucky Six to Lenny Salinas y Valle Alegre. And somebody sent me a little shot of the Rogelio show. I was just this little skinny stick in high school, man. I was there with a guitar in the back. So I was, I was happy to get that and see that again. It's been a while, but that's all we did. We did puras canciones con trompeta, saxophone, puro brass. so I liked it. I kind of got introduced to that, in the music industry at first, and then from there, regular Tejano. I hadn't played with a brass band after that, but well, I'm lying. I did later, years later, but este, but this song kind of takes me back to my roots where I first started, and
Right.
it's something that I've always wanted to do, and gracias a Dios, se nos hizo una realidad. Yeah.
Well, it's a
So
good song. Real quick, a big shout out to Daniel Garcia. Now, Daniel's a cool guy. He plays music videos. He always reminds us of some of the older classic music that some of us have forgotten. People realize that, well, I shouldn't say that. I should say some younger audiences don't realize that there was more before Selena. It wasn't that wasn't the start of the Tejano music. There was a lot more before that. A lot of good music, and Daniel's really good about that. Edna Lopez, thank you so very much for joining us, Edna. How to
Daniel,
see
Edna,
ya.
saludos.
Hmm. Yeah, Daniel's a Daniel's a cool guy. I really enjoy having him. So yeah, once again, I mean, there's so many great songs to pick from your album. Like I said, it's so varied, it's so different. Um, and that's kind of one of the good things. Now, I'm still trying to remember. I'm stalling because I do know that I've seen you somewhere. I just don't remember where it was. And um, hey, hello over there, Martin Salazar from Midland, Odessa. He's the guy from Destination Midland. They're having a show coming up, and he has like the Tejano Showcase. He's got all these different. Actually, he's got the Liberty Band coming up here next month, which is pretty awesome. And that's kind of the classic Tejano show. They had a show not too long ago that got a uh, uh, that. Thank you, Daniel, for posting this in the group. Uh, in his group, he's got a lot of followers. But yeah, he's the Liberty Band. They just sold out their concert this last one that they just did. Pretty awesome. The music is
Oh,
there. All it takes is for those of us that are fans, and I say this all the time. You will know. Um, it's great that you stream the music. It's great that you record it, but if you really want to support Tejano music, you really want to support your Tejano artists, you got to go to their shows and you got to buy their merch. I mean, that helps out the artist a lot more than all this other stuff. Not that they don't appreciate it. I'm not saying that they don't. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, go out to their shows and buy their merch. So, Javi, how can we get a hold of this album? How can we get a hold of your merch, man?
Um, you can get a hold of me through by calling me 956-321-1340. Get a hold of Gavino or even Rosie. We'd be more than glad to get you some CDs, and we're having some more stuff done. Some more merchandise done and stuff. So we'll be more than glad to help you and send any music out to y'all.
Yeah. You got to remember also that everybody's still ramping back up from the COVID. So,
Yes.
and I say that fully well knowing because I was going to take some t-shirts and caps to Vegas to give to artists and have them put it on so that way I could take a picture with my stuff. Couldn't get anything done in time. 2 weeks early. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do it early. 2 weeks. They're like, nope, you can get it in August. I was like, it's over and done that way, but it's slowly ramping. So I can understand your frustration. Once you
No,
run out, you're like, gosh, this is going to take forever.
some businesses, are behind, because of that, not because they want to, but because of
Oh, yeah.
situations and COVID and stuff. But yeah, they've been, here they've been very good about helping us out and stuff. So
If he likes, if he likes to post anything, he's welcome to. That's Daniel. That's in his deal. Grupo Septimo is watching. Hey, how's it going, Septimo? That's
saludos.
another group that needs to come on the air and hey, book me. You guys hook me up, man. Call me. I'll get you on the air. I guarantee you. All people are welcome on my show. So, going back, I'm getting a little distracted. I told you I get distracted really easily. But
Así soy
uh,
yo, no te preocupes.
right. Saludos desde Ruskin, Florida. ¿Qué hubo? How you doing there? It's Juan Navar. Narves. Hey Juan, how are you doing, brother? Thank you very
Which
much
one?
for joining over there in Florida. Jonathan Espinosa is from Florida, and so you were there too. Doing the touring with Margarita down in. That's a lot of wet hot down there. Like where you're at the Valle, that's a lot of wet hot. Here in San Angelo, it's a
Oh
dry
yeah.
hot. I'm used to the dry hot here, and my hair, it's long, but it's straight. Well, it's relatively straight. It's not super straight, but it's relatively straight. Every time I go to San Antonio or further south, once I take a shower and my hair dries, it looks like freaking the cowardly lion. Me falta la piocha. It's just
Yeah.
it's
It's
this
like
big.
the front part of my hair. If I don't si no lo aplasto con gel, se me hace a
uh,
little frizzle, the curlies and all that stuff. So I have to, comb it down. And
Yeah, I remember when I first started dating my wife, I had a piece of tape on my head, and she's like, "Why do you have some tape?" I had that clear. It wasn't clear tape, that white tape that. And I was like, "I have this hair that keeps standing up, and I can't get it down, and I don't have any gel, so I just taped it down." She's like, "You're crazy." Oh, Juan, you're killing me. Juan says, "Puros tiki bars and bikinis." Wow. Yes, brother, we know you're by the beach. It's crazy. So I
beach is
mean,
good.
you're in the studio, you're putting some music together. What's your next song gonna be like? Is it gonna be more of a ranchera, cumbia? What are you looking at?
We're
Without
working on
giving
another.
out too much, by the way. I know you want to keep it under wraps. You want to get this big surprise. But give us a little, what are we looking at, man?
It's all good. No, we're gonna keep the same formula. We're gonna be doing a little rancherita, and hopefully, hopefully you guys will like it. We're putting our heart and soul into it. So, Si Os Quiere will be out before the summer's over, and we'll let you guys know as soon as we release it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. So it'll be out pretty soon.
Josie Zamora says, "Hello, everyone." Hello, Josie. Thank you for
Hello,
joining us,
Joseph.
girlfriend. Let me ask you this real quick. Since I know that you started back in the '90s when um, well, even earlier than that. But I mean, you went through the '90s phase, and back then it was big, bro. We had like big budgets. We had, it was it was tour buses. It was, it was a lot of money being put into it. And people say that's the good old days and everything else, but you got to understand also those aren't feasible nowadays because it's mostly digital. You don't have that. Radio tours are good, but there's still COVID that's happening right now, and some artists would rather just do it over the phone like we're doing it right now, as opposed to going to the radio stations and doing it on air. So, what's the biggest difference that you've seen? Even now, you have a studio at your home. What's the is it convenience, or what are you finding that's the biggest plus from back then to what it is now, or what's the biggest negative? And Daniel says, uh, and the '80s and '90s were awesome. Don't forget that. Okay, sorry, D. You're right, brother. The '80s and '90s were awesome. But what do you find? Is it better to be a musician now or back then? How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, I think the pros, from the '90s, the '80s, and '80s, of course, records are still around.
Hmm.
Cassette CDs were coming in. The '90s CDs, phased in. So I think what was good about those days were, hey, you had more merchandise, and the only way to get a hold of music was through the CD, through going to the store, buying the disc, buying the single, or buying the actual album. And today, now everything is streamed, and some people don't even have. I mean, really, you don't have to buy it. You can just stream it, and I think that kind of hurts a little bit because, really, it's not that we want to make all this money on stuff. Really, that money helps the artist continue in the music business, continue recording, because not everybody has a studio. Not everybody has, are able to record at home or whatever, have their studio. me, like me, as far as me, I wouldn't have had it today. I just started buying stuff, back in the day, little by little, and because I already had the setup, and that's what helps me, and my thing was I wanted to do what the engineer did. I wanted to mess
Right.
with all those buttons. I wanted to learn, the recording art and stuff. But yeah, I think that's that's a down. Well, that's kind of a little harder, because the music is being streamed. But you know what? Hey, times have changed, and we roll with the punches, and le echamos ganas como quiera, and
You know what I found interesting, and this is with the K-pop groups that have come out. The Korean pop groups.
Mhm.
They still put out a ton of CDs, and I'll tell you why. Much like yours, you have the information, not only just the music, but you have information that comes along with it, and they'll put on like a picture on inside. It's more of a keepsake as opposed to just a CD. And you're right, it's easier to get music now, and that's why we have to. That's one of the mottos for here for Cuba Radio is to promote, support, and educate about music, and that's why we have to let people know, hey, this is great that you're listening to it, but let's also be fair and understand that 1,000 streams or 1 million streams on Spotify only gets you $1,000. You know that's that's a great accomplishment, but there's
Oh
very
yes.
little reward that comes out of it. And that's gonna kind of have a little bit of issue with some of the copyright laws, not necessarily because I don't say that it's wrong for artists to be protected, but a lot of times it's not the artist that's getting protected; it's the companies that are putting the music out. And the artist is not. They're getting percentages and points out of whatever sale. And that was the same thing back then. You have, I mean, look at TLC. TLC, they were multi-million selling. Albums and everything else, and they were broke because of the production value that was taken out of what they was that they were making in profit. Daniel Garcia. He makes a good um, point here. He said that he was watching the video that I did with Ram Herrera, where he says that he loves his voice now more so than he does back then because he's had time to work on his craft, kind of like you work on your instrument, whatever your instrument is. Work on it, whether you play guitar, you sing, you play the keyboards. You got to work on it in order to make it better. And the fact
Yeah.
that you have a studio at home and you're able to take advantage of that is definitely a plus. But let me ask you this: for the new artist that's coming up, because we have a lot of new female artists as well that are coming out, which is pretty awesome, I think, in my
Mhm.
book. What's the one life lesson that you would pass on that you wish you had when you first started out? Because back in the day, we were just, hey, get on there, get on there and go. Because if not, you're not going to get another chance. And so, what is it? What's the life lesson that you would like to share from your experience?
Well, that no matter the struggles that you have, and your career, um, you know, échale ganas, always move forward, take that as a learning experience, but not, on the negative parts or whatever happens, negatively, it's not always going to be like that. Things always get better eventually, and so échale ganas and don't stop and follow your dream. That's all I can say is, follow your dream hasta que se cumple.
Yeah, and then surround yourself with good people because you have good people there. You
Yes,
know,
absolutely.
and
Positive people, positive people,
positive
good
people.
working.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello to David Tanguma. Thank you so very much for joining us, brother. It's nice to see you. Josie Samora, she's back. Thank you, Josie. Um, yeah, I do notice that, like, like your promo stuff came out. You've got some great pictures, and that's
Thank you.
that's that's that always adds to it. It's always everybody loves steak, but it always tastes better with a little bit of salt.
That's right.
So you gotta put the butter on the bun in order to make it really good. And
That's correct.
having the people to back you up. You got Rosie backing you up, obviously. That's a great one. and it's good to have those people there, and then also the experiences with Margarita. What was it? Let me divert a little bit now that I mentioned her. What are you thinking, man? She came back here at Vegas, and I didn't think I was ever going to see her again. Um, I missed the opportunity to get to talk to her, so that way I could ask her to come on the show. So if she's watching or anybody knows that she's watching, I want her on
Oh,
my show.
saludos.
So,
Yeah. Well,
but
I mean,
what do you think? I mean, since you were there, you know.
well, for one, is like I said, it was an amazing experience. I really enjoyed every moment. Being there, I learned a lot. I was new to the business, but I learned a lot. I saw a lot. I went a lot of to a lot of places, met a lot of people,
Mhm.
and she has an amazing talent, an amazing voice. So if she's doing it again, hey, just before an employer or musician, I've always been a big fan too. So I say échale ganas, and I can't wait to hear more music from her because I mean she's just an amazing talent.
Yes, she is. She's an amazing talent, and then what I really liked about her was just her voice. As far as um, she sang it with authority. She sang with authority. It wasn't, sometimes you know people back off of what it is they sing. They don't sing it with the same. You can tell when people don't like a song or don't want to sing a song. It's not as it doesn't have the same volume, the same emphasis, the same. It's kind of back off. And some of them fall into that rut. When you've been playing the same album for 20 years, you don't sing it with the same gusto you did when you first started out. You kind of your old hat with it. So, but I mean, I really do appreciate that about her was the fact that you know she came out and did a great show, and it was I know I bothered the guys, the engineers back there, because again, when is she coming out? I don't know, dude. She's scheduled here, but they didn't tell me. And so I'm like, okay, man, come on, tell me, and because when you're a fan, you're a fan, and that's the cool thing with you. Um, how are you with your fans? I mean, what's the one thing? Hey, Ray Garcia, he's on the show. How you doing, Ray? Uh,
It's going Ray.
he's also another great singer. He's got a great video, which is pretty awesome. But I mean, for you, what's it like having your fans? Because you have fans for your music. You also have fans for you of playing with different bands. You have the best of all of it, because they're like, just by proxy, you have a lot of fans. What's it like for you to be around your fans? And oh, Gavino's there. Hey, Gavino, how you doing, buddy?
Hey Gabino, saludos.
And so,
Este,
what's it like for you to, you know, up there? What's your takeaway?
well, I fans are like family. I really appreciate them a lot, and I I'm very grateful. To whoever supports my music, follows my music, goes to see me play, because without them, pues no somos nada, verdad?
Right.
And they're the ones that give us the inspiration para tocar, para echarle ganas en el escenario, on the stage. So of course, man, my love goes out to each and every one of them, and I'm very grateful for them.
Hmm. Yeah, that's oh, Johnny Chanclas is joining us. Hey, Johnny, how you doing, buddy? And Ray Martinez. Um, that's cool, guys. Thanks a lot for stopping by and helping out. Este Javi, great, great musician. It shows when people show up to you, that you've made an impression, and that's always a good thing for you. I'm a fan. Obviously, you know which song I love because it's on my show and it's playing on my radio. But you know,
Thank you.
uh, it's really really cool, and I'm happy for you. We're coming to the end of the show, and I really do appreciate everything that you've given us here as far as the nuggets are concerned. But let me ask you this real quick. I'd like to give the artist the last part of the show. I'd like to give them an opportunity to say what it is that you want to express it's the time is yours. And so if you would just go ahead, it's yours, man. Say thank yous or whatever, whatever,
Sure.
how, your music or whatever it is that you want. So, well, I sent the wrong one. Hold on. Let me do this.
Sure, sure. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on your show. I mean, it's an honor to be in your show. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity, and I want to tell everybody out there, thank you so much for your support in my music. I love everyone, and I appreciate everyone. So, muchas gracias, and I want to send a shout out también para Juan Cantu from Hightower Records. Thank you for your support, your never-ending support. También para Rosie, Gavino, thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Los quiero mucho. And well, hopefully, we'll get to see you again soon.
And also, don't forget, swing by his Facebook if you want to get some, get some merch or, get a book him. Hey, you're available for playing, even though I know you're concentrating on your album, but you can perform, man, and I know you can because you've done it and you're really good at it. So,
Thank you.
that's the plus, and it's gonna kill me until I figure out where it was that I saw you, and I was like, hey, I know that guy, and it's only because of your hat, so it's I'll remember, and I'm gonna text you once I remember where it's at.
You let me know.
But no, I wanna leave you with "Me Gusta de Ti." It's a good song. It's tell us a little bit about that song, man.
Me gusta si te deseo. Okay, that song was a song that was recorded by Fandango back in the early '90s, and I did my own version of it. It was one of my favorites that I like to perform with Fandango and with Hugo when I was playing with Hugo.
Hmm.
So during that time, there was norteño and estilo vallenato coming out. So it's not vallenato or anything, but we kind of used a little bit of the bajo sexto with the keyboards and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
so
it's
we
got
decided
definitely
to.
got a different flavor. It's kind of you know, which I love the diversity that you have in your music and your album. It's really, really good and it's exceptional. The name of the album, Un Nuevo Comienzo, um, which is really, really awesome. And I'm telling you, the tangibility factor of actually holding something instead of you know just it being digital says a lot. It really does. It says a whole bunch, and that's definitely a class act on itself. Having a CD to have, because at least now I have it, as opposed to not uh, uh, others. Me gusta y te deseo is the name of the song. Sorry, well, he just clarified
I
that.
don't know.
Josie, thank you. It was just I'm only seeing bits and pieces of it, and so I'm vain. I don't wear my glasses because I'm blind. No, just kidding. I'm not blind, but yeah, I can't read.
Letters
But
are small.
it's like the letters are too small. But let's go
Sometimes
ahead and
I'm there
take a
with a
listen
little
to this song.
magnifying glass. No te creas.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, digo, también sometimes with my little magnifying glass too, trying to read the letters and all that.
Yeah, I want
Este,
to be. I want to be fancy. I'm going to show up next time with a monocle. I'll be like, excuse me. Huh?" I'll even change my voice. I'll say this Tejano music is quite excellent. We'll go off with that. Well, thank you so very much, Javi, man. I really do
thank you.
appreciate you being here, brother. You are welcome anytime you want to come back, bro. You're here. This
Thank
is
you so
Su
much.
Casa, but the tacos are mine. So
Awesome.
you have yourself a great one. People, thank you so very much for joining us. I really do appreciate y'all. I have an extra CD, so if you want one, go ahead and hit me up on because this is being streamed on YouTube. It's on Mixcloud and also on Facebook and on my station. So if you want one, send me a tag and I'll go ahead and send it out to you. Muchas gracias, Javi. I really do appreciate you, brother, man. And your music is gonna be here. I do want to go ahead and clarify that I am certified by ASCAP BMI and several other different services that is required by law for internet radio stations. I do comply. Also, I do participate in a program where if you hear the song, you can click on the add to cart. It will take you uh, 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 to Apple Music where you can buy the song or the album. I do not make any money off of that sale. However, because I participate in the program, I do get a discount on my licenses. So, with that being said, full disclosure, thank you so very much for everybody joining me. Norma, Josie, Johnny Chanclas, Ray, Bumper. A big shout out to Norma because she's just a sweetheart. Ray, um, and Gavino. Thank you, Gavino, for joining us. And Daniel Garcia, great guy. We appreciate all of you. Appreciate you, Javi. Here is the
Thank you
song, and
so
I'm not going to
much.
say it because I
Pleasure's
said it
mine.
wrong the last time. Me gusta y te deseo. Correct?
Yes, yes.
I'm amazing, man. All right, Javi, if you hold on for just a second, we're going to go ahead and leave them with this. Here you are, guys. This is a song I promise you. You're going to love it. I guarantee it.
Y te deseo, tú me gustas, me gustas. Tú me gustas y te deseo, tú me gustas, me gustas. Cuenta que ella a mí me gusta y desde que la vi ella me cantó, pero la muy ingrata no se fija en mí, sabiendo que yo estoy muy loco por ella, indiferente, ella es muy indiferente. Es indiferencia lo que me gusta, es indiferencia lo que me fascina, es indiferencia lo que me gusta, es indiferencia lo que me fascina, es indiferencia lo que me gusta, es indiferencia lo que me fascina, es indiferencia lo que me gusta, es indiferencia lo que me enloquece. ¿Qué voy a hacer con esa mujer? Yo siempre me la paso pensando en ella. Me pongo reto guapo para irla a ver. Ella siempre muy creída, ni cuenta se da. Indiferente. Ella es muy indiferente. Es indiferencia lo que me gusta, es indiferencia lo que me fascina, es indiferencia lo que me gusta, es indiferencia lo que me fascina. Tú me gustas y te deseo.